Nobody knows what happened to Asha Degree, and that is the problem. In 2000, 9-year-old Asha Degree walked out of her family's home in Shelby, North Carolina, sometime after 2:30 in the morning, and then disappeared into a freezing rainstorm, carrying a backpack she had packed herself in secret, with the house phone left off the hook behind her, and a search that covered more than 100 volunteers and bloodhounds turning up nothing but silence. And that is the problem. Asha was the middle child in a close family. Her parents, Iris and Harold Degree, ran a strict, orderly household. Valentine's Day was the next morning. Her class had a party planned. She had a stuffed animal she slept with and a school project waiting on her desk unfinished. At 2:30 a.m. on February 14th, her father, Harold, got up to check on the children as he did most nights. He looked in on Asha. She was asleep in her bed. Nothing was wrong. He went back to sleep. When her mother checked again just after 6 a.m., Asha's bed was empty. Her school backpack was gone. So were a coat and a pair of shoes. What investigators pieced together next came almost entirely from strangers on a dark highway, not from anyone inside the house. Sometime between 2:30 and roughly 4:15 a.m., Asha left through the front door without waking a single person in a house of 6. She walked more than a mile from her home to North Carolina Highway 18, alone in the dark in a hard rain. At 4:15 a.m., a driver named Sherry Suttle Reed saw a child on the shoulder of Highway 18, running for the tree line as her headlights swept past. Minutes later, a truck driver named Sam Efford spotted the same thing, a small girl in denim overalls and a red shirt, ducking into the bushes to hide from his lights. Both drivers assumed she was waiting for a school bus or playing a game. Neither stopped. Neither called police. By sunrise, Asha Degree had not been seen by anyone else anywhere ever again. Her parents reported her missing that morning, and within days the search became one of the largest in North Carolina history. More than 100 volunteers walked grid lines through fields, woods, and drainage ditches on both sides of Highway 18. Cadaver dogs worked the creek beds. Divers checked the ponds. Helicopters flew the tree line. They found nothing, not a shoe, not a footprint past the tree line, not one fiber of clothing. Then, 18 days later, a construction worker clearing a lot just off Highway 18 found Asha's backpack, half buried near a culvert, less than 100 yards from where the truck driver had seen her vanish into the trees. Inside were her clothes, a doll, and candy wrappers. But investigators noticed something else. The bag had been reburied or repositioned after the initial search teams had already walked that exact stretch of ground. It had not been there, and then it was. For years, the working theory was straightforward. A 9-year-old girl, upset or excited about something, ran away from home in the middle of the night, was spotted walking toward the highway, and was taken likely within minutes by someone driving that stretch of road before dawn. It fit the timeline. It fit the isolated, rural geography. It fit the fact that a child on foot in the dark in a rainstorm could not have traveled far under her own power. Investigators built a profile around an opportunistic stranger, someone local to the area, someone who knew Highway 18 well enough to move unseen before sunrise. For over a decade, that theory held. Then the backpack broke it. The FBI's forensic timeline placed the bag's discovery 18 days after searchers had already cleared that precise section of the construction site twice. Whoever left it there had returned to the scene, past police tape, past search teams, past a small town suddenly crawling with investigators, and placed it where it would eventually be found. That is not the behavior of a stranger snatching a child from a roadside on a whim and disappearing. That is someone confident enough, or connected enough, to walk back into an active search zone unnoticed. It also raised a harder question. If Asha had simply been abducted from the highway shoulder within minutes of being seen, why did it take her captor over 2 weeks to discard evidence just 100 yards from the sighting, inside the search perimeter itself? The randomness the original theory required started to look instead like local knowledge. Someone who understood exactly how the search was moving and when it was safe to go back. Here is the detail that still keeps investigators up at night. Before Asha Degree left her house, she packed that backpack herself deliberately, quietly, without waking anyone in a house of 6 people sleeping 10 feet away. She chose specific clothes. She took a doll. She left the phone off the hook as if she meant to call someone or already had. No note, no forced door. No sign of a struggle inside that house, and no trace of a struggle outside it, either just a healthy, prepared 9-year-old walking calmly into a rainstorm, toward a road, toward whatever was already waiting for her. The case remains open. The FBI still lists Asha Degree as missing. Her family has never stopped searching. In over 2 decades, despite tips, despite a reward, despite a backpack handled by human hands twice, no one has ever been charged. Somebody watched a 9-year-old vanish into the dark that night. Why has no one ever come forward?